Hey there everybody, welcome. My name is Andrew King with WebSans Solutions and Swift Dynamics, and appreciate you joining us today for this webinar on Dynamics CRM and Navision integration. So we're excited about this functionality that Microsoft has released. It's some pretty powerful stuff at the end of the day. But before we get started on all that, again, thanks for joining us. If you've joined us for previous webinars, you'll already know us from our WebSan YouTube channel. All the videos as well for Swift Dynamics are there too, and you can check out our WebSan University site, which contains learning management courses for a couple accounting systems that we sell, including Navision, but also CRM as well. Now, we already have a bunch of training videos specific to Navision, and I encourage you to check out our Swift Dynamics website where you can see all those training videos. And what I want to show, or what we're going to be showing today, is NAV 2016, which is Microsoft Online NAV, completely integrated with CRM out of the box. So some pretty neat stuff that Microsoft has done. And I know there's a new release of NAV coming out here in short order, and that even has quite a bit more functionality with the integration to and from Dynamics CRM. So an interesting fact from some research that we got, companies who actually integrate their CRM with an ERP realize an increase in revenue. And the reason is because when you actually use CRM to its full potential, it alone comes with some revenue increase and just improved processes. But we find a ton of clients who are out there using QuickBooks or other solutions for their accounting software. They're using maybe Salesforce or something else with their CRM, and it's all these disparate systems that don't talk, and so you still end up with people manually entering things, they miss things, etc. And when you combine those two systems, i.e. what we'll be talking about today, there's some serious power in that. So really can't encourage you enough to take a good serious look at systems just simply talking. And when it does out of the box, that's a pretty significant advantage there. So we're going to start with this diagram on really how do Navision and CRM communicate, what are the integrations, and specifically how does it work. So I've got Navision on the left side here, CRM on the right, and we'll get into the systems here in a minute and take you through the various integrations specifically. But really, just nomenclature-wise, a customer in Navision is an account in CRM, a contact in NAV is a contact in CRM, etc., etc. Now, what you actually do when it gets down into the details is a client will come to us and say, you know what, we just really need our orders going into Navision from CRM, and that way the accounting department can simply invoice things, and we just need to be all talking from the same database per se. But what you'll see from this list is there's a heck of a lot of stuff that needs to integrate between the two systems just to simply enable, as you can see down at the bottom, just as an order and an invoice to go back and forth. So you do need the customer records, you do need the salespeople, which really are users over in CRM. In NAV, you've got both inventory items and resources, which are people or types of work that might get invoiced, the currency, the units of measure, and then once you have all these building blocks, then you can communicate between the two systems and send orders and invoices back and forth. Now, one other thing to keep in mind, if you're using invoices in CRM, really the intention is that the invoices come from the accounting side of things, or Navision, and then go back up to CRM for informational purposes. Okay, and there's some other foundational items with enumerated values that also integrate back and forth. One other key piece of information, or two other really, is what we call statistical information. So you'll notice on the left side of the screen, information is coming from CRM into Navision that really give you visibility in Navision to statistics, like how many open opportunities or quotes or cases are out there in CRM that might be moving their way forward, i.e. opportunities into quotes or quotes potentially into orders. And you can actually get to them even from NAV into CRM because there's that direct link, which is pretty cool. Now, opportunities or quotes or cases don't directly integrate into CRM, but it's nice to have that information from Navision and get that visibility up into NAV. Now, on the CRM side of things, and this is where I think there's some really rich information, is the system integrates statistical information from basically receivables into Dynamics CRM. So I've got the customer information, their link, maybe what their open balance is. You can see this particular demo system of NAV was the European one. We'll show you the Canadian one today, but we've got 135,000 sterling outstanding, various outstanding sales orders, maybe outstanding service orders, thus coming from that whole case side of things in CRM, maybe what their credit limit is, what's overdue. And this is some really valuable information for salespeople to see really how the client is doing relative to open accounts receivable and things like that. So there's some good info there that can be sent up that gives salespeople visibility to maybe these guys aren't the best customer, or quite frankly, maybe they're a great customer and I really need to close this deal. So a lot of clients really love that part of the integration from NAV to CRM that goes back and forth. So with that being said, let's jump right in with both feet and kind of get into how this works. So I'm logged into NAV as the sales order processor role. And what I'm going to do here is just simply search and go into the CRM integration connection setup first. Okay, so this is how we're linked. We're linked to this is a test account, and we're linked to a test account for Office 365 as well. But let's take a look at these queue entries here. So there's a job queue that runs. That's the default queue that runs on a periodic basis between the two systems. Here's the list of the integrations. You can see products, salespeople, etc., posted sales invoices, and then there's a customer statistics piece. That's that part that I was talking about before. Now you can also control not only the integrations that run, but also their timing. So as an example, we've set the timing for the products and salespeople over here at 30 minutes. Everything else is pretty much 2 minutes, just to kind of keep things in sync. And obviously, if I'm demoing the system, I don't want to wait 30 minutes for data to go back and forth. Okay, so that's over in the CRM configuration of the individual tasks and the job queue entries, and then you can actually see all the synchronization running, and by default this runs in the default queue in Dynamics NAV. Okay, so this is up and running right now, and that's pretty much all from a high level standpoint what I really want to show you guys, because the setup is it's not complicated at all. Quite frankly, it's automatically built into NAV, just needs to be enabled and linked to CRM. Okay, we won't go through that today, but just wanted to show you that this stuff is there. So what we're going to do is we're going to start over here at our Canon Group customer. Okay, and from a Navision standpoint, this is some basic information that's here, but I want to call your attention to over here on the right side of the screen. So here I've got a section called Dynamics CRM Statistics, and when you activate the NAV CRM integration, it automatically changes this screen to now contain this information. And if I click on the number of opportunities here, you can actually see them listed. Okay, and I can go to one that's open, and when I actually click here on this button, it's going to launch CRM and take me right into that object within Dynamics CRM. Give that just a second. So it's just loading, okay, and here's that actual opportunity sitting up here in Dynamics CRM. So again, because I'm on Office 365, you can see I've got full integration between, this is Spencer, I think his name is Lewis, Spencer Lowe, sorry, in NAV. That's the same user over here, my buddy Spencer, over here in Dynamics CRM, and it's all linked through O365 to Navision to Dynamics CRM. So there's no logging in back and forth between these systems. They're just up and running, and I can navigate freely between the two. So that's opportunities. I can do the same thing, obviously, with quotes and cases. But the other information that's here, if we scroll down a little bit in the customer card in Dynamics NAV, you can see as a quick example here, I've got $142,188 outstanding. And if we take a look at that exact same record in CRM, you'll see there I've got $142,188. And in fact, it was just updated a little bit ago when I fired up the system in preparation for this webinar, and it synchronized the information. So you can also see if there are any issues just by seeing that modified on date. Okay, and I've also got additional statistical information here in Navision. So some pretty cool stuff as far as how that works. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to sell a product that we've got a bit of inventory on. So if we take a look at this item that I'm going sell. Now you can sell items, you can sell resources. We're just going to take a look at my warehouse. Okay, and in the blue warehouse, I've got 101 or available here, 91 available, 101 on hand, so more than enough for my little demo today. And the key is that the default location for the particular item that I'm selling is indeed the blue warehouse, so that's what's going to get populated from a CRM perspective. Okay, now the price list and all the other stuff, you can see that the price list unit price is $289.60. That default price list is also one of those integrations that go back and forth between the two systems. So again, just to refresh our memory here, what we've shown just now is really this customer information going back and forth, okay, and then this statistical information going back and forth. Now, what we're going to now do is put in an opportunity for this particular customer. Okay, so I'm going to go over into NAV, and we're going to fire up a brand new opportunity. Let's see if I've got one up here. Nope, I'm actually going to create it right from scratch. So just give me, actually it's over here, sorry, just on the other side of the screen. So we're going to open up and create a new opportunity, okay, which is going to open up the quick entry screen, and we're just going to say NAV webinar demo op, and I can associate a contact with it. Maybe we'll do, let's see if we've got myself out there. So we'll go, we'll pick anybody here. And we'll say estimated revenue, it doesn't really matter. We'll say, whoops, skipped over that field. $20,000, estimated close date of, say, the 30th. Okay, and there's that webinar opportunity, and you can see it here. Now, down here on the bottom, I can actually change this to system calculated, and this is normal CRM type functionality, but I'm actually going to add, I need to select the price list, sorry. You'll actually see here in my currency selection, okay, I'm picking Canadian, and now I'm going to pick the price list that corresponds to Canadian dollars, which is that NAV default price list. So that's the integration, the first integration that we've really shown besides the statistical and the account ones. That's that price list integration. And when I go ahead and add this existing product, whoops, 1988, I can search for it, and there's that 1988S chair, and there's that price of $289.60. So we're going to sell 10 of these guys in this opportunity and save it. Okay, so again, what I've shown so far, now we've got, let's just go back. Obviously, that customer came through. The salesperson is the user, so that's been me as the owner, being Spencer. Okay, Spencer's the salesperson. Spencer's also the user in Dynamics CRM. That item came through, okay, and also its associated price list. Okay, the currency came through and the unit of measure. So we've already seen all these items or all these little entities come back and be populated into CRM for use on this order. Okay, you can see there's that unit of measure pieces, there's the price that came through, the quantity, the currency, and then this price list that came back into CRM. All now that have been used to further populate CRM, and now I'm going to actually create a quote out of this opportunity. Okay, so this is all native functionality in CRM. I'm not really showing anything special per se. What's special is that this is actually using information that already came from Dynamics NAV. So again, when we take a look at this quote that was just created from the opportunity, number one, it's linked back to that customer record. It's linked back to that opportunity, so I've still got that flow through from CRM where I can see all this stuff. But I've got that price list, there's that item, and we're going to stick with our 10 just to keep life simple here, and I'll save that quote. Okay. Now again, just to follow through, I'm going to go ahead and activate this quote. It's going to lock it down. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and create an order. So the system's going to prompt me that whether it wants to close the opportunity or not, or whether I should close this opportunity or not. Okay, and this is again just all standard CRM stuff. If I wanted to revise this quote, it would update the revision ID, things like that, and we've done various webinars on Dynamics CRM already to show that specific functionality. So forgive me, but I'm sort of flying through just sort of the simple CRM type stuff that's out there. So I'm going to mark that as 1. We're going to go ahead and create that order, and that's what you'll see come up on the screen. And now here's that order. Now, it's just sitting here active at the moment because I can still modify it, etc. So the trigger to be able to pull it down into Navision is actually that I need to go submit this order. So I'm going to stick with everything as is, and we're going to go ahead and submit that order, okay? Which then locks it down. And you'll see this order again is linked back to the quote, which was linked to the opportunity, which was linked to the customer record, okay? And just as a side note, by the way, if we go back to this account record, one thing you'll notice is there's actually a button here that can take me all the way from the CRM account back to the NAV account, similar to how I got from NAV up into CRM. Okay, so we're going to go back to NAV here, and I'm going to look at open sales orders. And you'll notice if I go into Navigate, there's a little button over here that says show me the order list that's up in CRM. And sure enough, there's that order that we just created up in CRM. So this is, notice here real quick, this integration is a manually triggered one. Everything else is 100% automated. This particular one is actually manual to go back and forth to Dynamics NAV. And what you actually do here is this order is sitting here, and then I can take a look at it, okay? And there are the details of it. Now that's now sitting in NAV, ready to be pulled down and processed. So we're going to create that in NAV, and then here's the actual order details. So I've got the header, all the contact information here, again, the guest chair, the 10 pieces, and you'll see down here from a shipping standpoint, it's coming out of the blue warehouse, and all the other defaults have come in. Now, I can simply just exit this at this point. It goes away off my work list. Okay. If I take a look again at the open sales orders here, we'll actually see that guy sitting here in my list. Okay, and I believe its number is, I'm going to go with 1038. Yeah, there's that 10 pieces, that guest chair. So that's my new order number that came from CRM. So it creates a new order number, by the way, in Navision, if you didn't notice that kind of out of the gate. Okay? So once it's here in NAV, by the way, now it's up to me what I do with it. It's a straight up normal Navision order. So I can post it, I can release it, I can pick, pack, and ship, I can print out documents, I can email confirmations. Any normal functionality that I've got in Navision is available. So as far as it's concerned, it's a full-blown Navision order. Now what you're also going to notice is there's that little guy, okay, which is the order number that came from Dynamics CRM. So we've kept that linkage the whole way through, okay? So what I'm going to do is to speed things up a little bit, I'm just going to ship an invoice, this bad boy, and it's gone. So the order's been shipped, the inventory has been decremented, so let's go back and take a look at our little item here and just verify that. Whoop. Okay, and when we take a look and we go item availability by location, we'll see that that's now 81 and 91. So if you recall, that was 91 and 101. That inventory is gone and has been shipped. And that's, again, just straight up normal Navision functionality. If we take a look back, let's go back and take a look at that customer. Okay, so let's go into customer 1000 here. Okay, now you'll notice that balance has gone up, okay, by the amount, shockingly, on that invoice, which was roughly $3,000. Okay, if we go back to our page, so there's the old entry, 142,188. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. And again, keep in mind those integrations run every couple minutes, so it may not have refreshed already, but we shall see. Oh, it's still 142, so we're going to give that a couple minutes. You can see actually the last time it updated was 11:18. It's now 11:20 on my clock, so that should be updating pretty much any second. So we're going to refresh that just one more time and see if that came through. We'll give that just a quick second. And there it is. So now it updated as of 11/20, and there's that 145,257.91, and that matches the 145,257.91. Now, if we also go down into sales, and let's take a look at invoices, okay, and we'll just switch this to all invoices. Okay, what you'll see is there's that NAV webinar demo opportunity that's been billed. Okay, so if we come back into NAV real quick, let's just compare these two. Let's just go back home, and I think I've got a button here for, nope, I got to go to sales invoices. And these are actually open sales invoices, so I apologize. For me to actually see the, let me just go to posted. There we go, posted sales invoices, and let's go see which guy here. That's fine, we'll go to the Canon group. There she is, and we'll scroll down. So 103,045 is the last one that's been cut. There's those 10 pieces. There's that order number from CRM. Now we're over here in CRM. Let's go back into that invoice. Okay, now here's the cool part. Okay, that ordered, so this is now an invoice. Okay, and here's the totals again, and all that stuff came through just fine. Okay, but here's the really cool part is that this invoice is still linked back to the customer, back to the order, and back to the opportunity in CRM. So that integration, that continuity of all that data is still maintained, even though, as we diagram here, that invoice took a bit of a journey. So the sales order came from CRM down into NAV. We then processed that into an invoice, and that invoice went back to CRM, but that continuity is still there. So it's still linked to all those original entities that it came from. And so from a CRM perspective, all the great functionality you have of dashboards and reports and roll-ups and all that fun stuff is still there in Dynamics CRM, and we've not broken that chain. So Microsoft did a pretty good job of making sure all that stuff kept its integrity all the way through its journey. Okay, and again, if we go back to that account, let's go back to sales here, and sorry, we'll just go back to that customer. Okay, and we'll go back into the Canon group. And again, there's all of the associated, we'd still have the opportunities there, all of the revenue is there, et cetera, and you can see that we won that quote, which then closed that opportunity because it's not even on this list anymore. Then it became the order, sent it down to NAV, processed it to an invoice, and then went from there back up into CRM. So really, it's this tracking here and that account tracking over here that enables it to come back into CRM and still be linked to all of those originating entities. Okay? So in summary, that, by the way, is pretty much the entire journey. So in summary, just wanted to highlight for you kind of how that works. Now, one little mistake with this diagram, I apologize, this is not a two-way integration back and forth. This is an integration coming from CRM down into NAV, and any changes you make to that order will not be reflected back up into CRM. So not sure if they're enhancing that in the future, but I apologize, that diagram is actually incorrect. But some pretty neat functionality. To do this with other systems, requires a third-party tool, might require coding, things like that. But the Navision integration is strictly out of the box. We did absolutely nothing to customize it, and it's very rich in functionality. So wanted to share that with you today. It's not a long webinar at all, but really just kind of wanted to walk through the different building blocks and things like that Microsoft has provided right out of the box for us. So with that being said, are there any questions that I can take at this point from anybody that's out there? Happy to answer anything you've got. If not, what I'd like to do is just take a quick poll and see what you thought of this webinar. It was a relatively quick one, but just wanted to really get across kind of what was available out of the box. And this is NAV 2016, again, hosted on Azure, and also CRM 2016 hosted on Azure. So some really cool stuff that Microsoft has done. And in a later webinar, we touched on it in our last one where we really did an overview of NAV. Next time, what we're also going to do is probably some O365 integration stuff, because there's some really neat functionality that Microsoft has built into Power BI, to SharePoint Online, as well with CRM and Navision. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate your time today. And with that being said, we'll let you go. And again, thank you for joining us. We'll announce our next webinar series probably in early July. And please check out our YouTube channel, etc. There is just a ton of good stuff out there for people. Okay, have a great one, and we will talk to you next time.